Do you have a hard time making choices, or is it like pretty easy for you to do that?
I cannot make a decision to save my life.
Oh, wow, really? You're the decision choice person.
I'm a terrible decision maker.
That leaves no hope for the rest of us.
Yeah.
This is Ruth Chang. She's a professor of philosophy at Rutgers University, and she studies hard choices.
So what I should say is I used to be a terrible decision maker.
Okay.
But that's how I got interested in thinking about hard choices.
Can you help me make a decision about something?
Sure.
I can't tell you exactly what it is. I just need to know what to do.
So I believe that there are 5 steps to confronting a difficult decision.
Okay.
Do you want to hear the 5 steps?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. The first thing you have to do when you're confronting a hard choice is to figure out what matters in the choice between the alternatives.
So, like, write them down.
Write them down, and there'll be a mishmash.
Okay.
Then you lather, rinse, and repeat. You go back, and you think, well, gee, did I miss something that matters in the choice?
Yeah.
Then you recognize that you're in a hard choice. There is no best answer. The next step, commit to one of the options. Create a reason for yourself to pursue that option.
Okay, so what's 5?
So 5 is not really a step, it's more of a consequence. When you commit to something, you create your own identity. You make yourself into who you are. Those are the 5 steps.
Okay, I admit, a 5-step plan might sound way too simple, especially when you have to make a big choice. But Ruth Chang says it doesn't actually have to be that hard. Here she is on the TED stage.
I think we've misunderstood hard choices and the role they play in our lives. We shouldn't think that all hard choices are big. Let's say you're deciding what to have for breakfast. You could have high-fiber brand cereal or a chocolate donut. The cereal is better for you. The donut tastes way better, but neither is better than the other overall. A hard choice. Realizing that small choices can also be hard may make big hard choices seem less intractable. What makes a choice hard is the way the alternatives relate. In an easy choice, one alternative is better than the other. In a hard choice, one alternative is better in some ways, the other alternative is better in other ways, and neither is better than the other overall. When I graduated from college, I couldn't decide between 2 careers, philosophy and law. So I got out my yellow pad, I drew a line down the middle, and I tried my best to think of the reasons for and against each alternative. I did what many of us do in hard choices. I took the safest option. And as I discovered, lawyering didn't quite fit. It wasn't who I was. So now I'm a philosopher, and I study hard choices. And I can tell you that fear of the unknown, while a common motivational default in dealing with hard choices, rests on a misconception of them. Hard choices are hard, not because of us or our ignorance. They're hard because there is no best option.
Okay, here's a recent example from my own life. This is a small decision, but it was actually really hard. We were at a fish restaurant where they're really famous for their fish and chips, but the haddock was really fresh that night. So I ordered the haddock, but then they brought the fish and chips to my son. And when I watched him eat it, I was really regretting the choice I made.
Okay, 2 things that might be happening in that case. One is that you just made a mistake, right? The cod was better.
The haddock was pretty good, I have to say.
But if the cod was better than the haddock, then you made a mistake.
But how would I know, right? I mean, I guess I could taste them and then decide.
Yeah. I mean, that's like asking, how do we know when one thing is better than the other? That's very difficult. How do we know anything? What I'm interested in is the second possibility, which is suppose the cod was better in some of those respects, the haddock was better in other respects, and yet neither seemed to you at least as good as the other overall. And it's going to sound crazy when we're talking about fish dinners, but one possibility is to commit to one of the dinners. Right? I commit to cod. Okay. I'm a cod guy, and by committing to the cod, you actually can create a reason for you to have the cod, which then may give you most reason to choose the cod over the haddock.
Now, that seems less crazy when we're talking about careers, right, or people to marry or places to live.
Yeah.
But the structure of each of those choices will be the same.
When we come back, Ruth Chang on why committing to a decision not only helps you make the right choice, but helps define who you are. I'm Guy Raz, and you're listening to the TED Radio Hour from NPR. It's the TED Radio Hour from NPR. I'm Guy Raz. And on the show today, decisions. And we were just hearing from philosopher Ruth Chang on why both big and small decisions can be hard. But one way to make them easier is to commit.
So suppose you spent your whole life never committing to anything, never putting your agency behind something. You drift through life, which most of us do. Well, what's sad is that you've never exercised this amazing power you have to create reasons for yourself. When you drift through life, you're never the author of your own life. You're just something being buffeted around by your circumstances. I think that what we've missed is that we have this other capacity to commit to things and to actually write the story of our own lives by committing to people and projects and plans of actions that then create reasons for ourselves to live one way as opposed to another.